Hey, your car guy, Bill DeBoer over here at DeBoer's Auto. Just wanted to come at you guys and make a quick video for you about knowing your dash light symbols. So, April and October are Car Care Awareness Month, so we just wanted to bring this video to you and educate you a little bit about those dash lights because they can be very confusing at times. Nowadays, everything's a picture. Back in the older days, older vehicles were, they spelled out what the issue was or what the light was for. But now with the worldwide market where cars are being shipped to multiple countries, everybody's adopted these symbols for different trouble areas on the vehicle. So I'm just going to run down the top 10 for everybody so that you know and you're aware of what's going on. So the first one we're going to talk about is the oil pressure light. So if that comes on, it's a red light, which is a very strong warning that the vehicle should be stopped immediately and be looked at. The tire warning light, which we're all very familiar with in the Northeast here, as the tire pressures change as the temperature does, that's a yellow light, which is just a basic warning, so you can drive on that, but you do want to make sure that you check those tire pressures. And typically the tire warning light will either be on solid or it could be flashing too. When it's flashing, it's a little bit more critical because it means that it is not reading one of the sensors, that one of the sensors has fallen off the system and needs to be looked at. The next one is going to be the engine temperature symbol, which in most vehicles are red, and it's a major indication that you need to stop right now. But some newer vehicles, especially like Subarus are top of mind for me, they have a blue temperature light as well, which indicates that the car is cold, and it goes off once the vehicle's fully warmed up, and that's for emission purposes. It's really not a significant light, but if you have a red engine temperature light on, the vehicle needs to be stopped and it needs to be looked at right away. The next light that we have is a traction control light, and this has to do with your traction control system, and it's a yellow light, so you can again drive it on that system light, but you still need to have it looked at shortly thereafter. And same with the anti-lock light for the braking system. That is a yellow light and needs to be looked at, but it doesn't mean that you need to stop the vehicle right away. The battery light, which is a red light, is a major component. Obviously, if your battery is in failure mode, at some point you're going to lose power to the vehicle and it'll stop on its own. So it's important that you pull over, have it looked at right away. The next light, which we're all too familiar with, is the check engine light. So the check engine light, as you know, is a yellow light, and it's quite a funny symbol. In the early days, people didn't know quite how to describe that symbol, but more and more people are familiar with it now. But that's a yellow light you can drive on, but it can also flash at you. And in those instances when it's flashing at you, it's very important that you have it looked at immediately, because it's doing damage to your catalytic converter, which can be very expensive. So if it's a solid yellow, you can drive on it temporarily. If it's a flashing yellow, you should have it looked at immediately. The next one is the low fuel light, which is pretty obvious. It's a yellow light, time to put some gas in the vehicle. The airbag light is a yellow light, which you can drive on as well, but it should be looked at. And the last one is the brake light. So the brake light also comes on for the emergency brake. So at first, if that light's on, you think your emergency brake light's on. But if you release the emergency brake and that light stays on, it's because there's the brake fluid is typically below the level it's supposed to be at. And vehicle manufacturers nowadays have the vehicles made so that when the brake pads wear out to a certain point, the fluid level drops below that and turns on the light. So, or it can mean that you have a rupture in the brake fluid system, and at that point you would know too, because you'd have a soft brake pedal. But either way, it's a red light and it needs to be looked at immediately. It's unsafe to drive a vehicle with the brake light on. So for this and some great other tips, head on over to www.deboersauto.com to learn more about us there.